What's happening, Shield Wall? Let's check some of these changes that I've been doing to 1776, and we have a siege. Little stream test. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Skull. Shout outs to all my subscribers. Thanks for the new headphones. Killed two birds with one stone. Mic built into my headset. And I can roam in my wheelchair with the microphone. So rock and roll. Gracias, muchachos. Stay tuned. Oh, sing it if you know it. Dance if you don't. Let's jump in. Has some fun coming up on the stream. Done a lot of work to this mod. Yes, we did, those bloody British. This mod came out in 2015, and it was about the last version, and in my experienced opinion, it's about 50% done, and I've already done about another 25% work to it. I've been fixing a lot of things. A whole list. I've got a freaking list. I have like 3 pages of fixes that I've done. Yep, good old-fashioned notepad. And you see them all scratched off. So every major city on the East Coast, I have checked and rechecked and redone most of the scenes so that they actually fit the Revolutionary War period rather than a medieval Colradia period. And there's a lot of good scenes in here that are done and they work and they're great. And there's a lot of scenes that are just not done and they're still Colradia. Solution, take the ones that are done, put them in where the ones that are not done. And so I've been placing all those scenes so we see something reminiscent of 1776. A lot of the women's dresses and headdresses and loading and whatnot are loading from vanilla, and I've started to address that. And so we'll see what comes of it. I've overhauled troop trees, cities. The soundtrack is all completely new. The screens are new. The font's new. The done list. Wow. We overhauled Newbern, Richmond, Ottawa, Savannah, the castle at Halifax, Boston completely redone, the Pensacola Tavern, Havana, Willemstad, Tallahassee Taverns, the Quebec Tavern, the entire city of Baltimore, the entire city of Vilnius, the Toronto pub, the Montreal streets, and all of Ottawa. And so I redid all that today. I redid 2 dresses. So that's my done list. Like I said, I've also gone over the troop trees. Cavalry should not be riding around with muskets with bayonets. They should have carbines. And the dragoon muskets with bayonets should not be in the hands of dragoons while they're riding. Bayonets would be attached when they're on the ground. And so dragoons riding around with bayonets and the rifles is silly. And so I addressed all that. A lot of the uniforms, the textures and meshes are broken. Solution, take ones that are not broken and replace them. And that's what I've been doing. So I've been doing a lot of replacements with stuff that works over stuff that either doesn't work or is not there. It's non-existent. This is the only 1776 anything that I've seen that I'd really like to play. And I love this period. This is such an amazing period, the Revolutionary War of the United States. And there's just not that many games out there that are RPG. Assassin's Creed doesn't count. It's not really open world. It has a storyline. You know, there's stuff like Empire Total War and whatnot, but that's real-time strategy. I'm looking for something more along the lines of Warband, right? Which is why I would spend a little bit of warband time working on this year, 1776, rock and roll. I freaking love it. The American Revolution, it's one of my favorite time periods where most of this is happening and taking place is within a couple of hours of where I'm sitting. And with these new headphones, I can roam anywhere and talk right into this banded mic. It's great. So I'll be getting about, I don't have to deal with any other peripherals. I can cruise around in my wheelchair and talk and stream and hear everything with mics and everything. Nothing attached, man. Like a freaking full-blown Dalek. So we have a siege coming up. I'm running this at 6,000 bit rate, 60 FPS, 1080. We're recording in 7. This is kicking out at 720. So we're at San Juan. I've redone the ground textures. And so today I've gone through every city, like I said, I concentrated most of my time on the cities where we would be spending the most time in the cities that this great conflict was taking place in, which happened to be the cities that were the most unfinished. Okay, so these cities down here have been addressed. So now they work. They actually look like they should. Savannah, Charleston, I addressed those. New Bern, this is Tidewater, is what this is. I used to live here. And so I achieved the American dream here. I did. I had gotten to the top of my career and I could go anywhere, so this is where I want. This is the largest military concentration in the world. This is Chesapeake. This is Tidewater. I think these are already losing juice, huh? I guess I need to charge them up. We'll see. So this is Tidewater. This is Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Newport News, Buckrow Beach, etc., etc. And so New Bern was here. So I was married down here, and I lived down here for a long time. And so I used to drive home. I used to be in Yorktown, all the way to Yorktown, all the way down to this Spit. This is Willoughby Spit up here. I was in charge of all this. In my industry, I was a consultant for a natural organic agronomic turf company. And so we put in lawns for admirals and things like that. And we did work for Yorktown Battlefield. And so that was almost 25 years ago. So rock and roll, just thought I would show. And so Richmond is now done. It doesn't look like Sargoth because that's what it was. Baltimore, same deal. Baltimore was Sargoth. Baltimore is one of the most important cities in this conflict. Philadelphia, same deal. New York is okay. What he did with New York is vanilla scenes, but it works, and he did some changes. And so New York I left alone. That was good. That was all right. It worked. Boston, I worked on Boston. You won't. My goals with what I do, I changed that to Ottawa for the Potawatomi instead of Oshawa. Montreal, I fixed Montreal. I fixed Ottawa. What else do we fix? Albany is great. Albany, I didn't have to do. Albany is great. Albany was done. Albany was really nice. Windmills, everything. It's pretty cool. And so I used Albany for a couple of scenes and a couple of the pub and the castle, the throne room. We'll say the governor's headquarters, or the barrack, call it the army headquarters. Were really good in Albany, so I used those for different scenes. And so I found scenes that I liked and mixed and matched and finished what wasn't done. My goal with mini modding, when I take a mod and I do my warlord changes to it, my goal is to get rid of anything that is reminiscent of Vanilla Mountain Blade Warband. I don't want to see Vanilla Mountain Blade Warband in my 1776 or Parisno or Sands of Faith or anything. If I want to see any Vanilla Warband, I'm going to play Banner Page. Right, and you won't see much vanilla in that either. But you guys get the idea. And so the things that are broken, there's a lot of kits that are broken, a lot of textures that are broken. And I'm a texture guy, and I have been for over 30 years. I've been modding games for 30 years, since Red Baron 1, on the Imagination Network and AOL. Salutes to Yagshishvara 1, the Flying Circus. Rock and roll. But, so solutions. There's a lot of broken textures and stuff in here, a lot of broken models and stuff, but there's a lot that work. There's a lot that are great. They're great assets. And so solution is take the stuff that works and fix the stuff that doesn't with the stuff that works. We'll have a complete mod. There's very few script errors that I've seen, and I've only had a couple of crashes until I turned my multiple sclerosis, until I turned my texture detail down to 80. If I bump that up on my rig, my i7, I got 16 gigs of RAM. I got 16 gigs of RAM, and I'm running a 4 gig NVIDIA. I have an i7, it's a 2900, it's weak, it's old, on this Commodore 64. I've been upgrading this machine since 1978. But if I kick it above 90, I'll get some crashes. Down around 80, especially if I'm streaming or I'm recording. But if I'm just playing, I'm flying. I'm cranking everything up, man. I'm cranking everything up on my card, MSAA, FXAA, all that jazz, right? But not when I'm recording or streaming. I can't. Not yet. Stay tuned. And so character detail, that's what I couldn't remember. Character detail, I put that down on 50. Corpses, got to see them. Ragdolls, I don't want to see a bunch of stiffies sticking up out of the ground. It looks silly. Dynamic lighting, I was wondering if that was causing my crashes. Sometimes it does on Lego and other gunpowder games, but that probably has something to do with my NVIDIA card because it's a weaker low profile. So it's a little different. And so Toxale pointed out one time about the dynamic lighting in my Lego and my gunpowder games, and it worked well for me. I turned that off. Less crashes in gunpowder flash games. But most of the times it works. So in any event, without further gilding of the lily and the overrunning of the yammer, let's rock and roll. So I put some King Shillings in there. These are my screens that I'm using for Lego. My Lego mini mod is almost done, if anybody wants to play it. My Viking Conquest, what's it called? I forgot what an envelope was called the other day. Um, Not a compilation, another word for compilation. Collage. Our Viking collage, right? With Toxale's 5.1 armor mod. Let's get back to George. With Toxale's 5.1 armor mod, balance mod 12, my changes, all historical changes. I added some scripts, I added some dialogues. I did a bunch of changes and a bunch of stuff from Dark Age. And so, yeah, that's almost ready to roll. Toxale's got a Viking Conquest version, man. It's just going to knock everybody's holy shit socks off. Freelancer in Viking Conquest. Thank you, Toxale. I owe you a fucking t-shirt and a pizza. So, rock and roll. Textures, trees. Oh, yeah, textures I optimized. The variance in the sizes and resolutions of the textures were, the ends of the spectrum were extreme. There's some really big textures and some really small textures, and that's great. That's fine for a system like mine. I'd rather have them small because then everybody can play them. Most people I know have a system like mine. It's like i7. But in any event, I took, as usual, I optimized the texture so they'd load very quickly. So everything is below 2048 or below. Nothing like 4098. I shrink all that stuff down. Now this stuff's jamming. I'm not getting no lag. Threw that font in there. I like that font better. And so in any event, you guys get the idea. Awesome, awesome. We'll see a few little script errors. Also, this is where I've lived here since what's the month? Wow. 30 years I've been out here. For 30 years I've been out here. Here. It's almost 2023. So 30 years ago I was on Dead Tour and I was growing a bunch of weed in Boulder, Colorado. But then 30 years ago I moved to this area. I moved to DC, right outside of DC, Alexandria, right out here. and I lived here for 30 years, so I know this area really well, right? So I made a few changes in the map, right? So I put Germantown right up here, which is a significant place, and we'll be sharing some video, some live video from a Revolutionary War reenactment. And this weekend was Remembrance Day here in Gettysburg, and Abraham Lincoln gave the Gettysburg Address, huge reenactment. There's usually a parade, huge parade, thousands of reenactors descend upon Gettysburg this weekend. But because of COVID again, I believe it was canceled. A lot was canceled. My very first walk MS was canceled because of COVID. I ended up in a chair and I was gonna freaking roll, man. Rock and roll. So where he had Fredericksburg was not good. Fredericksburg ain't up here. Fredericksburg was up here. Fredericksburg would actually be over here. Fredericksburg's over here. Yep, this is Chesapeake Bay. Best blue shell crabs in the world. Man, there's places out here. There's little islands out here, right? There's no cars. There's no nothing. There's no shit. There's bicycles, and there's a bunch of old Popeyes and wooden shacks, man. They're coming in off the tugboats with big old barrels full of fish, shad roe, all that jazz, right? All kinds of crabs. And so this is where my wife's family grew up. She grew up down here in the Chesapeake Bay. And it's an awesome area if you ever get a chance. The beginnings of this nation's history. And so I changed a few places. Winchester should be out here. Yeah, not up here. I think it was out here. Yeah, and Fredericksburg was over here. It shouldn't be there. It should be over here, down over here. It's not west of Richmond. It's east of Richmond. It's over on. It's almost on the water. So my in-laws live. But in any event, so I did a couple of changes. The rest of the stuff looks groovy. Some of the names are iffy. I changed a few names to names that I know are historical names for the areas. There's a few names that were iffy. Rock and roll. And so, my faithful viewers, my faithful moderators and subscribers, I put a few of you in the game. You long-time, big-time supporters. Rock and roll. Stay tuned for the adventure. And so test, sound check, sound check. This microphone that I'm using in this headset isn't as good as my desktop mic that I have here. But it's good enough that I like to be able to roam. I like to have the freedom. I don't like having nothing on my head because of MS. Makes my head feel weird. But man, the sound quality is jamming, but I need a better microphone. So let's get in here and murder the bums. So we are at war. I am Merkin. Looks just like me, right? I did custom banners. I put a bunch of custom banners. Let's take a look. Here's my custom banners. I redid all these. All the American banners, I redid all of them. Top row, down here at the bottom. And they do not look historically accurate when you're picking them, and they're not. But these are resized and reshaped appropriately so they look good in the game. So when you're looking on the menu screen, I know it's not the accurate flag, but when you see it in the game, it is. So you'll see what I mean. So rock and roll. Great French flags. I like all this. This is old school. This is old school warband. Man, this... I was actually thinking about doing my first and only complete Warlord 100% mod before I die I was thinking of doing a Rev War mod, but shit, I might just overhaul this. So hey, that is one of the coolest banners, and that is from the Battle of Brandywine, I think. Unique banner. So you see, I'll take that and I'll add some texture to it. All these need texture. You see the difference between my blue ones here? And these here are very flat in 2D. It's very old school warband modding. A lot of the textures on the soldiers were not saved correctly. And so they have a sheen to them. And I don't know if I can fix them. So solution is, as I said before, I'll replace them. And so that's that. There's one little bug in here. There's a few bugs that are actually beneficial to the player. And so I believe I was going to show you all. Rock and roll. Renowned 47. So we just started out. We're a month in again. This is, I think, my third restart because I do changes to the mod. And I'm not going to see the changes. They're not going to soak in until I start a new game. And so that's what we did. and we still might not see some changes. Some of the dresses might be messed up, and I'm going to fix them. The women are completely botched. And for me, I like the RPG, so I will sit here for a day with a pot of coffee, bunch of Reese's Pieces, some Kind Bars with the chocolate chips, some wacky tobacco, and I'll fix all the women. I'm also going to get rid of all the U.S. soldiers that are in the troop trees of the Indian nations. That's a little weird. And so I'll take that out. Indians will no longer be riding bears. Indians will no longer be riding wolves. Now, if I'm going to do that, it's going to be Paul Bunyan on a freaking bear. Now, that would be awesome. Dudley Do-Right on the wolf. And then we got Popeyes in charge of the goddamn Admiralty. I love it. And Juan Valdez loves me. Rock and roll. And so I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying it when I first got in. And I'm really reluctant to take this on to overhaul this because this would be, of all the mods that I've mini modded, this needs the most work. This needs a lot of work, and I really wish that they would have finished this because Mount and Blade Warband is a freaking legendary game that will go down in history as solid gold, and we don't have a really hardcore, good, complete Rev War mod for it. Ah, sinful. Shameful. Drastic measures, so profound. Sit here with coffee fixing these textures all day so we can go in and die. So I modded the NPCs. So we have all custom companions, starting with Anna Strong. You guys know who Anna Strong was, right? She's hardcore. She's our first companion. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to start a new game, and I think I'm going to do that with our next live stream. And I wanted to live stream today. It's Sunday night. It's almost 11 p.m., but it's too late. Most of you cats are snoozing. So I'll shoot you all a video and test my game for the stream. And so you see I changed all the menus, and I used my menus that I used for Lego and stuff like that. It fits, right? 1750 to 1850, 1700 to 1900. We can use the same screens, man. Americans, they're all like hamburgers. And a little cheese makes us even better. So rock and roll. I think I'm going to lose my battery here. It's like clicking on me. And if it does, well, we'll finish this another time. And so I've gone through all the troops and the kits. The Philadelphia Dragoons would not load. Their textures were broken. So these guys were going into battle with no shirts and shit on. They had like, these guys were also riding around with muskets with bayonets. And these guys were all decked out with 1728s. Why? I gave them all 1776s. What was the guy's name? Starts with a C or a G. Those 1776s came out. Yep, mounted patrol. So I've gone over these guys. I've renamed a lot of the troops by rank. Usually in my older mods and when I used to be in clans, we go by rank rather than recruit, veteran, elite, private, corporal, volunteer rather than recruit, colonial volunteer. Take a look at the troop trees. I might lose sound here. And if we do, we'll continue when I charge back up. Let's see. Rock and roll. Right on. So, you guys see what I did. Skirmisher, rifleman, sharpshooter, right? So I changed to rifleman. I redid the trench coats. I redid these. That's Warlord's work right there. Yeah, those were really botched. The brown ones I didn't touch, so you can see the difference. Big time. And I'll make these gray ones a little more blue. The brown, I'll make them a better leather texture. I retextured all of the tricorns. The tricorns now have a really great felt on them. The felt that was on there was cheesy. And I redid these. I gave these guys appropriate boots and gaiters. I'm going to give them some more gaiters too. All the changes that I've done have not loaded yet. I have to start a new game. These guys will have smoothbore muskets. And when we get up to sharpshooters, Yeah, see, I got rid of that. So it hasn't loaded yet. But in my new changes, and when we start our new playthrough on Twitch, these Continental sharpshooters, the top dogs with the green jackets, they'll have some Jaeger rifles, um, and they'll have Kentucky long rifles. They'll have Pennsylvania rifles rather than these 70-76 long line patterns. Give them a mix, you know. Their gaiters will change. I modded like 4 pair of gaiters, so I retextured 4 pair of gaiters. They're just not loaded yet. Felts redone on all the tricorns. Awesome. So that's it. If you try to go into the cheat menu to access the item menu and the cheat menu, and I do that because I can look at the code and I can take note on the code of what the item is so that I can easily track it down to modify it if need be or override it. Don't access it. It'll crash. So it did for me, so I said screw it. And I just opened up morgues. I can mod shit that way. So that's what I'm doing. We have no courtship relations. We're a freaking geezer. Let's take a look at our budget. We're making 500. We got some whiskey. See, it says oil press. All right. So the dialogue that hasn't been modded yet, that should say net revenue from whiskey distillery. And so you see, I'll fix that. These screens, they look great. The back screen's mine. I'll completely change this. This will look different in time, probably in the next couple of weeks. And then I'll get hooked on Parisno. I'll play Parisno for a month. Yeah, the screens, these guys, the red coats, look at them. The artwork's fabulous. I love it. I love it. Right on. See over there to the right, the Highlanders. There's Glenn of NW, right? That's Nouvelle West. New West. Glenn de la New West. And Dan the chef. That's right. Dan's the little one. You see, Glenn's the big one because he eats all the food that Dan makes. No sense of humor on you today. So where are we at? I just wanted to show you guys what's going on. Our budget party morale. How are we doing? Not too bad. The morale has been really kicking ass. And it's got the usual custom commander, PVOD, etc., etc. Our morale has been doing really good. And so I have that, my morale set to, I'll show y'all. Rock and roll. I think it's in here. 99, it's not. It's over here. Our food consumption, it's not. I must have looked right at it. Forgive me. Consuming food, 60. Put that at 50. Yeah, and so the morale gets below 50, the guys start pigging out. They get hungry, they get depressed, and they use that freaking food support, man. I'm telling you, that food crutch. I got snacks all over the place. I don't know what to do with them. Oh, may the gloom find you smiling, my friends. Awesome. Right on. So, who are we at war with? Yep. Oh, shitburgers. Look at this. We're at war with the Great Kingdom of Great Britain. So a lot of these textures were broken here on the factions. So solution, replace them or get rid of them. And that's what I did. These were all like a foot was sticking out here. It's George Washington's foot. So we should stay allied with Province of Quebec. I changed the name to Province of Quebec appropriately. No outstanding issues. So we're at war with the Cherokee Nation. We've been friends with them. All of a sudden, the Indians freaked out and they got all pissed off at us. So yeah, we had a bunch defensive pack. That's good. Defensive pack with the Iroquois. The Santee, that's a little strange. They're way out of the way. So right on, the Dutch, kick ass. You see that there? I'll get rid of that. I'll fix it. That little weird thing up there. Right on, let's go, go, go. So, siege. I think my headphones are going to die, though. They are beeping on me. I don't know why. Maybe it's multiple sclerosis alert, man. Let's go, go, go. I need to get my rifle. I want to get my rifle. Oh, our stuff. I didn't show you guys our stuff. So rock and roll. You start with a lot of good gear. I like this pirate trench coat. It's badass. Everything's pretty much a 14 across the board. I'm going to bump these armors up. Almost all the armors are 14, and that's fine. That's fine. Oh, I also modified all the firearms. All the firearms have been modified. All the pistols, rifles, muskets, carbines, smoothbores, rifled, etc. Everything is more balanced and equal. Okay, so now the game and the combat relies more heavily on the stats of the hero, NPC, companion, etc. Right? But I made all the rifles more balanced out so that one army in particular wouldn't have a distinctive advantage over another army simply because one item is way unbalanced. You know, um, the numbers were pretty good. I've fired gunpowder, firearm, muskets thousands of times, and I can load these bitches faster than anything I've ever seen in a warband mod. So I always bump up speeds. However, what Gabriel Juro did here with the speeds on the weapons is right on the money. So this is the first firearm gunpowder mod where, in my opinion, I felt that the firearms the speed fired accurately. The damages, the damage and the bullet speeds are good. The loading speeds is what I'm talking about. And the loading speeds are really good in this mod. They're fast, and they should be. A lot of the weapons that we can reload on a mount, you can't. You cannot load a 1776 musket, bayonet, or not bayonet on a mount. It would be a task, especially if it's trotting. And so I will address that. Carbines and short carbines, that's another story. Those suckers are ready to roll. They're preloaded. And they're small. If you guys have never seen one of these carbines in here, they're not big. They're not big at all. The real deal. I see them all the time. I live in Gettysburg, and they're great little rifles. They look like a little squirrel hunting rifle, really. But in any event, so that's the handheld weapons I have not addressed yet. All bladed weapons will be 30 or above. If it's any kind of a cutlass, saber, or sword. Daggers and whatnot will be in the 20s range, 2025. Okay, usually around 2025. Swords, cutlasses, sabers will all be 30 or above. Between 30 and 40, probably not more than 36. Damage. Firearms are all, I'll just take a look. Firearms are all 100 ranged. They all do the same damage with the big fat ball, right? The accuracy is only a few points off on weapons, like literally 1 point. For example, 1776, it gave it a 91 accuracy. It was a better weapon. The Kentucky Smoothbore, the accuracy is at 90. It's an older weapon. Still, 100 damage, 9.3 pounds, that's correct. 10.3 pounds, that's correct. Speed rating 80, speed rating 80. Looking good. Speed rating 88 for the 88 speed for attack as a polearm, yet it's a lighter weapon. And so I'll modify that. That speed rating, make that sucker a 98. That's a 90, make it a 96 speed rating for the handheld melee attack. But the accuracy I have up on that is a 91. I'd swap them. The smoothbore musket is not as accurate. I could tone those down to 89. All the smoothbore muskets I could turn down to 89. Where our rifled muskets will be a 90 accuracy. But specific rifles like the Kentucky rifle, the Pennsylvania rifle, I would give them 1 more point of accuracy, 91. The Jaeger rifle, I'd bump that accuracy up to like a 96, 98. And so that's what we'll do if I haven't already done it. In any event, I love the fact that the food, the ale, we can party on down. Tomahawks, some of the tomahawks are strange where you have 1 tomahawk. And it's interesting, it's cool, where you can have 1 tomahawk and once you throw it, your weapon's gone. You only have 1. You can throw it or you can use it as handheld. Here we have 2. Now I could make all of them 2, or I can make all of them 1. Right? If we make them all 2, it'll make it tougher on British and American, French, Dutch soldiers, which is cool. Give the American Indians more to throw, right? They've got rifles too, and they will have rifles. Rock and roll, so we're doing pretty good. But I wanted to grab a rifle to take in here. I'm not going to take that smoothbore. I should just get rid of it. I need to sell that. And sell it we shall. Right on, get my hat up there. So I'm going to take my land pattern. I should take my pistols, but my pistols don't have range. They don't. The accuracy is only 85. The speed rating's 80. Same speed as that land pattern, but the accuracy's bumped down to 85, 80, 85 for pistols. Dueling pistols is like a 95 accuracy. In any event, it's nice that we can use these as weapons and shields as well. Some pistols, you have a dual pistol, which is great because it works like a sword and shield. So you can fire one pistol while you're blocking with the other pistol as a shield, and that's really cool. I really like that. This is the only mod I've seen that, and we should have that in Lego. We should have that in American Civil War mod with freaking Navy Colt revolvers. Shield and shoot with two pistols, that's fun. And so, hell yeah, I had to get the freaking eye patch, right? Because I got optic neuritis, man. I only got one good eye. And so, my friends, I think that's it for my intro. Take a look, see what's going on, show and tell, a little bit of this and that. Tallahassee was looking good. So did we get our rifle? I'm going to take my pistols. I should take my pistols. Take my rifle and bayonet. We'll go bayonet some bastards. And we'll hope we don't crash. And if we crash, we'll just fire it up again. But I want to show you guys what I'm up to. And at the same time, I'm doing a bit of a stream test. It's too late for me to stream. Most of you cats are snoozing in your bunks. Right on, we got a good horse. The Polish Cutlass is kick-ass. The Polish Cutlass is really good. It's like a 106 or 110 length. The speed's faster, and it does like a 36 damage. I think it's the best saber in the game. And so I'll make all sabers commensurate, equal across the board with that Polish saber. The reason I got dualies is because I can load them both up. I can take two shots. Right? But these pistols don't have the range. They don't have the range, they don't have the accuracy. They do the same damage as the rifles and the muskets. I learned that lesson from Sands of Faith. So let's get in and kick some ass. So let's take a look at our troops real quick. Anna, she's cavalry. I'm going to want her. And with the archers for now. Yeah. And I didn't know why, but most of these guys were considered archers. I made them all infantry. And I'll make my skirmishers and riflemen, which is our Morgan's Rangers and our Frontier Sharpshooters. All these cats. And I re-outfitted all these guys too. Their inventory's not showing all the stuff. I retextured all those, the better felt. So they have more items that we'll be loading. So if we start a new game, you're going to see different items here. We're not seeing it yet; it hasn't loaded. But I gave these guys a little bit of mix of uniforms. They'll be in green, right? Sharpshooter green, kick ass. Yeah, they'll be wearing ragged, tattered woodsmen, frontier sharpshooters, rock and roll. Go America! Right now, it's like I've got the textures turned down. It looks like that's weird. It like beeped on me again, man. Aliens. Rock and roll. So I only got 37% health, which is why I was kind of loitering. But we got to get in here or we're going to miss the siege. We'll take our archers with us. The archers are my sharpshooters. I wish we had a... We'll change these forts. Yeah, so they look old-timey. I wonder if we're going to be able to get in here. Come on, boys. Make room. Hope y'all like the tunes. Rock and roll. Let's go, go, go. He should be one of ours. Yeah. Continental Ensign. Look at him. Rock and roll. Awesome. They're murdering him. Yeah, well, yeah, I modded all the music. Right on. The siege is almost over. So we'll see what General Green's doing. Yeah, we are merkin. We are. We're merkin. We're mercenary. Yeah, our renown is still like we're not even hitting 50. Who do we have? General Washington. Oh, we're going to get in a fight. Awesome. No, no, no. Dude. Shit, dog. We're just about to get in a fight. George. What's shaking, George? I've been to your house. I got drunk with the ambassador to Tunisia on a hot summer day. I used to work right across the river. I grew the president's grass. Not the kind of grass you'd think. Grew, not maintained. Sweet. Tu nanto. Sweet. Awesome, awesome. Where we going, General? Right on. Mongo Town. We'll change that. Change to LaSalle. Change it to just Fox. Fox River. Fox Indians. Yep, we'll stick with the general. He's got a fat army. This here, the claimant for the United States, the colonies, wouldn't it be cool if Benedict Arnold was the claimant for the USA? Right? But he's a general. Yeah, he's a general. How did the women come out? Are the women broken? She's not broken. So I fixed the dresses. I redid the dresses. I went through all the women were all completely messed up. They were bald and they had like old Colradia dresses on. Some of them might still be broken in this playthrough. And the next playthrough, they'll all be fixed. She looks good. I just fixed them all. Good deal. Let's see how many are broken. I changed the American colonial women, United States women, to Miss instead of Lady. They would not be Lady. There's no royalty. We did away with royalty. And so they are now Miss. So I just redid all the women a couple hours ago. Right on. And there might still be a couple of them that are broken. They look good so far. I redid the dresses. I retextured the dresses. Excellent. So far, so good. I know there's going to be a couple messed up ones in here. When you're starting a new game and it's creating a save file, I swear it's breaking shit. She's messed up. Oh, she's messed up. Oh, man, that's going to give me freaking nightmares for a week. Let's marry her. Oh, man, that poor girl. So I changed all the names of the American Indians, most of them, And I put some real historical people in there, like Lame Deer. Yeah, Jumping Eagle. Who else we got? Hawkmoon, Firebird, Far Eyes, Fast Mountain, Fire That Speaks. These guys, they had like Italian last names. Fabio, Black Dog, Giannini. Yeah, so I changed them. Big Wolf, Black Dog, Black Hawk, Black Paw, Blackfish, the Blackfish from back in the day. Rock and roll. So, cool beans. Yeah. So our next playthrough, we start a new playthrough. All the changes will be, will load up. The stuff that I did fix, like with the messed up women. You just had to see it. You gotta see it. So shit, man. We had peace with, he's going to Baltimore. We just had peace with, we should stick with the general. We need the buddy points with the general, right? With General Washington. Best videos out there, in my humble opinion, best videos out there are the videos produced by Mount Vernon, George Washington State on YouTube. Those are excellent videos. That's too bad we just sued for peace with Great Britain. I thought we were going to get in some fights. So hot diggity dog. My OBS and recording status, everything looks groovy. Kick ass. Hope everything's jamming. We shall see. And hopefully I'll be streaming tomorrow. I always have stuff to do, chores, etc., etc. Oh, he's getting away. Come on, Ben, you can do it. We're going to change our name to Boone. Yeah, we're going to be Daniel Boone. Script error, it's the same one. Same script error. So we must be getting what, called up by the marshal? Nope, he's going home. We'll stick with the general. And thanks for tuning in, y'all. I may upload this to YouTube. Yeah, OBS blows, man. OBS sucks. OBS, I can crank out like 60 FPS and a recording. I might get 6,000 bit rate, maybe not. Same script error. So yeah, Running Bull, Great Britain, Creek Nation, Defensive Pact. Really? Now we're in trouble. But I've been using Wondershare. Wondershare I've been using to edit my videos for a long time. But I never ever thought to use Wondershare to record my streams or gameplay, and it works splendidly. 100% better than OBS. I could run 1080, 60 FPS, flying. It looks great. You guys have seen a few of my last videos. So, I don't know. OBS, you would think that I could do a kick-ass recording with it, and I have Wondershare, and I can do a badass recording with it. I used to just use that to edit my videos. Now I'll be using it to make more recordings, game recordings, stream recordings. So where are we going? Looks like he's mustering the troops. Court Lady, 516, invalid troop ID. Something's missing. Let's find out what we're up to. These headphones are probably going to die on me. I'm pretty happy with them. I wish the mic was better. So eventually in the future I will invest in a better mic for my headset. Loving these tunes. These tunes are from the album Jefferson's Fiddle, which is truly music from Monticello. This is the music that both Jefferson loved to listen to and music he loved to play. It's about a dozen tracks. I used about half of them in this mod. You can find the entire CD right on YouTube, Jefferson's Fiddle. And I threw a few nice old colonial pub tracks from live recordings in here. Appropriately, Robber of Outlaws was defeated in battle. Right on, trade agreement. So this is my gig, man. I'd rather be a general or a captain in the army than the president. See how things unfold. All right, looks like we got a fight. We do indeed. Oh, it's getting dark, damn it. Keep those Philly Dragoons, man, right on. Good dealio. Anna, she needs to be put back in cavalry. We're going up against Running Bull. So what's up? Is they not going to finish fighting him or what? Well, let's jump and we'll get the renown. Right. Check him out. Oh, man, we are dead meat. Oh, we are dead meat. We better hide in his hat. Look at that. It's Goat Tanker. Goat Tanker's going to freaking scalp us, I'm telling you. Shout outs to Kendall. High five, bro, and congrats, Daddy-o. You guys throw Goat Tanker a follow on Twitch. He's a real American hero. My favorite tanker. Oh boy drives a tank. That's pretty cool. I want to drive a tank. Whoa, doggy.
sail to old England. We hope in a short time to see you again. And so nevermore shall we see you